Hi, Ron. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
If someone wanted to add to their family through adoption, how should they prepare for that legally?
So, they don't really need to do anything legally at the outset until they contact us.
Okay.
What happens is they contact us, we go through the process, explain the process from the beginning to the end, and there's somebody who comes along, a licensed social worker, does something called a home study.
Mhm.
And they're pretty uniform throughout most states. And the home study is something where they ask for their background, their education. They come and check out their home and make sure their home is clean and orderly and that they have room, presumably, for a baby, whether it's a separate room or at least room within the house or the apartment that they're living in. Um, and they do a background check. They actually do fingerprinting and run them through the FBI database because they want to make sure, the states want to make sure that whoever is adopting they're putting them to a good home and that it's a safe environment.
Okay. Okay, great. With that being said, and earlier you mentioned that there's agency and then there's independent adoption. So, what are all the options of adoption, and how does it usually work with you?
So independent adoptions are what we handle. We occasionally also get involved in an agency adoption, but independent adoptions in my mind, are very good because you can have more of a say in what's going on throughout the process, and we can help streamline the process. That's what we're there for. Although we are lawyers in California, we work around the country. So we advertise everywhere. We have clients everywhere. We have uh, women who we work with who are pregnant who contact us, and they can be anywhere in the United States. And if the adoption is happening in California, then we handle legal work in California. If not, we refer them to attorneys. We have contacts throughout the country. So we work with people everywhere throughout the country. When we need them, we bring them in, whether it's social workers or attorneys to do the final legal work.
Okay. So for an independent adoption, if I were to say consider that myself, I would call up I would call up your law firm and say,
Right.
"Okay, how do I get this process started? What can you go over with us what that process means?" It sounds so intimidating.
It's really not, it's more information gathering, quite honestly, at that point. So we would provide you with some handouts, if you will, some documents to fill out. And it's asking for your background because we want to know your background. It sort of allows the person who's going to do the home study for you to get some general background before they meet with you. So we provide it to the home study person. And it tells us, what are your interests? What do you do for a living? What are you looking for in a baby? Are you open for every kind of race, religion, background? And once we get your information, then we can go ahead and do outreach to potential birth mothers around the country. When they contact us, they're going to say, I want a traditional couple. I want a single woman or a single man or a gay couple.
Mhm.
They may have stringent requirements themselves as to where they want to place their baby. Many times they don't. Many times they say, we just want good people. We don't care who they are. We don't care if they're married. We don't care anything. We want a good, strong foundation for our baby, which is quite honestly why we do this for a living, because it allows you to see the great side of people and
Yeah.
feel so good about helping build families.
And then do you stay involved throughout the entirety, or is it just like, okay, here's all your information. Once I get you set up, see you
No,
later?
we stay involved from beginning to the very end. Even when there's an adoption happening, as I say, let's assume both parties are in a different state. We stay involved from the entire time to sort of oversee the process. The birth mothers frequently are in a bad situation, whether it's financial, emotional, they don't have the support system that they need. So they look to us, quite honestly, for that emotional support, let alone frequently for financial support as well. But certainly the emotional end, they may call us or text us with us on a daily basis for months, and we continue to stay in contact with them after the birth as well, because they frequently want to be involved with us and they look to us for that emotional support. And when families come to us, they frequently have tried to do different things to already build their family and become parents. So they come to us, and a lot of times they're sort of in an emotionally raw situation as it is at the outset when they come to us. So we try to calm the situation down, explain the process, they need to basically relax during the process and remain calm. There's lots of ups and downs. It can be very emotional at times. And you have to be patient. You have to be patient to wait for there to be a match with a birth mother who chooses you, quite honest, in that situation, who you then want to choose back because it's mutual.
Right. When it comes to finances, is it something that you can also help out a family with, like the costs of this? Like, listen, this is honestly a priceless, like, how do you put a price on family?
So the answer is it's an expensive proposition any way you look at it. It's expensive not just because of the lawyers, but it's expensive through the system, through dealing with the birth mother. We help to the extent that we can by making sure that the birth mother has some sort of insurance coverage, whether it's government subsidized health coverage if they don't have their own private insurance, so that our goal is to avoid the family from having to pay the medical expenses of the birth mother along the way. Once the baby is born, most insurance policies immediately kick in for the adoptive family. So once that baby is born, those medical expenses are typically covered by the family's insurance, which is great. A large expense comes from holding the birth mother's hand during the process, and from their needs. They may start out as homeless and we need to find a location for them to live, or they may be in a bad living situation. We still need to relocate them. And they may need maternity clothes or food, or some of them don't even have a phone. So there's expenses along the way, and that adds up. There's lots of resources out there. Our website provides a lot of background. So I would tell people to start with adoptionsfirst.com. So adoptionsfirst.com has a lot of those resources and sort of gives an overview as to the process. In addition, there's a website called it's the North American Council for Adoptable Children. All these long names, of course, right? So it's NACAC.com. That also provides a lot of just general background as to the process, which is what people are looking for. Lastly, call an attorney who deals with adoptions, and most attorneys are happy to talk to you.
That's wonderful.
I talk to people all day long about the adoption process, whether they sign up with us or not.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful, Ron. Well, this has been really informative, and I think this is valuable information. So I'm excited to let people know that there's these opportunities and people like you that can help.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here and to help explain and get rid of some of the fear that people have as to the process.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Ron. I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You as well. Bye-bye.